Hey Nectar, obviously congratulations on the first call-up. Can you just talk us through the experience you've had and what it's meant for you to reach this point after really grafting your way through time in the Scottish League?
Hi, yeah. Thank you. Firstly, it's always an honour and a privilege, especially on my first camp with the senior team. So yeah, it's a real honour, and it's the whole week has just been exciting, really, and getting to grasp of the of the standards, so to say, and everything that comes along with it.
I guess we know that you've played as a centre-back. We know you've been playing as a defensive midfielder at Hibs. What have Tony and the coach said? Where do they sort of see you slotting in this Socceroos team, and where can you sort of see yourself doing that as well?
Yeah, well, I've been selected as a midfielder because of my performances there this season, and I see myself personally in the midfield. I think that's where I'm growing myself into, and also in Europe this season, I've played all my games there, so definitely in the midfield.
Vince?
Yeah, thanks. G'day, Nectar. Great to talk, mate. Can you talk to us about that transition? As I understand it, Sunderland signed you as a centre-back, and it's a conversion that's sort of happened at Hibs this season. Can you, how has that happened? Whose idea was it? And how much are you enjoying it?
Yeah, well, in my youth ranks, youth football, I was a midfielder and slowly got transitioned to a centre back at around 16, up until last season. So it's always been a position that I've been capable of and sort of mixed in and around. So I think in pre-season with Sunderland this season, I sort of transitioned back into midfield, and going out on loan, I wanted it to be a club where I was going to be playing in the midfield. And so I think Hibs perfectly suited me, and yeah, I think we can all see that it's suited well this season.
Seems to be working out for you, mate. I've noticed, I don't know if it's reached you yet, but you've been nicknamed by some the Aussie Rodri, which is about as high as compliments can probably get. How does it feel to hear something like that, to feel the love of the Hibs fans at the moment?
Yeah, it's probably one of the best compliments you can get. So yeah, it's good to hear, good to have, and yeah, I can definitely feel the love, and I think that love from the fans really pushes me on and helps me.
Luke?
Nectar, thanks for your time, mate. Who have you been sort of soaking up knowledge and experience from since you got into camp? There's a lot of depth in that centre midfield there, position in this squad to learn from.
Yeah, definitely a lot of experience in this team, and as a young player myself, you tend to look on to the older boys as, Jackson Irvine and in my position, but also Matty Ryan, the experience and the leadership qualities that he has. So I think for me, they're the big two that I've really tried to learn from.
And what has Tony told you about, obviously it would have been hoping to make the match day squad. Has he given you sort of any tips on what you'd need to do or show? We know he can be quite specific sometimes to feature in this next one.
Yeah, he just said to continue believing myself, and I'm a young player. My time will come. I just have to keep my head down and working hard till I get that opportunity. You can't let yourself down by having a weak mentality. So I just have to keep on pushing hard and waiting for my opportunity.
Ted?
Hey Nectar, congrats mate. I know you come from a big family. How have they sort of reacted to everything, the call up? They must be pretty proud.
Yeah, I'm a big family, one of 10, so I'm the second youngest in that, so they've all come with their families, and the game was in Sydney, and me being from Sydney, they were all excited and there, so it was a good experience all around.
And it's pretty crazy to think you could be playing in the Premier League next season if Sunderland get promoted. What's that like?
Yeah, that's another goal of mine, to be in the Premier League, and the best league in the world. I think that's where all players aspire to be in. So it'd be a great thing for me personally to get promoted into the Premier League, and from there I have to work as hard as I can to earn my spot in that team.
Joey?
Cool. Nectar, thanks for your time this morning, mate, and congratulations on the call-up. Coming into this camp yourself, it's your first camp, it's Tony's third now. He's had some time to sort of put in place what he wants to see. What's been your first impressions on the expectations and standards associated with being in camp?
Yeah, it's very high standard, as you can imagine, and as it rightly should be, because of how high quality these players are. I think it's always good to be around quality players, and it helps yourself grow in those aspects. So I think the main things for me to take away from this is the excellence that the coaches drive, and that the standards that they've put in, which is great to see.
You touched on it there before, mate, but on the books of Sunderland, on loan at Hibernian, you've had this breakout season at Hibs there, spent some extended period on loan there at Hibs, but do you see your future at Sunderland? That's where you see your future lying, and you're keen to get back and play with the Black Cats?
Yeah, my parent club is Sunderland, but I have a good soft place for Hibs because I've spent an extended time there on loan, been now extending to 18 months overall. So I've had a good time with Hibs, and I just have to see in the summer what happens.
Anna, come to you for a follow-up. Any further follow-ups, just raise your hand, guys. Have a time for a couple more.
Yeah, Nick, obviously you said you're on loan. Off the top of my head, it didn't necessarily start that well for the loans. You had, gave some penalties away, that sort of thing. Some players, they really drop their heads when that happens, and loans can go really, really south from there. How did you turn it around, get it on a level footing, and make it such a success?
Yeah, for me personally, I don't look back at it as a negative time in my life or a negative place that I was at. I think those decisions where you give away a penalty or things like that, as you were saying, it's a split-second thing, and you can't really look back at 6 months and all you focus on is the negatives. I've learnt a lot in that time, and I think now I've really used that experience to push on this season. So for me, it was never really a negative thing where I fell into a trap of just being negative, and for me, I used that as motivation and a place to push on from.
Luke?
Has it been easier slightly transitioning to life as a footballer in Europe, in that environment at Hibs with, with Lewis, with Boyley there, you got Jack as well? It's sort of like the mini Aussie contingent.
Yeah, it has helped a lot, to be fair. I think players around you that understand your life and experiences really helps you to settle a lot quicker. And yeah, Hibs, we have a little group going on, so it's good. You can relate to a lot. You can relate a lot to each other, and it helps you a lot off the field as well.
Last one from Joey.
Cheers, mate. Nectar, there's, of course, also a bit of an Aussie contingent at Hearts as well. Given the nature of the derby, the rivalry, are you allowed to be seen in concert, in public, concerting with them and speaking with them, or does the rivalry come first?
Yeah, I think off the field you're allowed to speak to people. I don't see a problem there, but definitely on the field or anywhere near it, friends come last, and especially as soon as you step over the white line, there's no friends in my eyes.
One more from Rich McBurney to round us out.
Probably just be two more if we
Two
can
more.
sneak it in.
Here we go.
First one, Boyley sort of mentioned the story of how you got the call up and got told. Do you mind just telling us from your perspective? You were in the dressing room apparently.
Yeah, that's right. I was in the dressing room just getting ready for training, and just out of the blue sort of received a text saying that I was going to be caught up with the Socceroos, and yeah, everyone was around me, and it was sort of a little party for the next 5 minutes celebrating it. So it was just good to see all the boys get around me and really show that emotion for me.
And family got a mention as well. You're obviously letting people know pretty quick. What was that reaction like as well?
Yeah, I called my mum straight away, and you're not allowed to call people in the change room, so they were calling for a fine, but I didn't care. I had to let my mum know straight away.
What's the fine? What do you pay for? What's the damage on that?
I'm not paying that, but they're obviously going to try to appeal it, but it was, whatever it is, I'm happy.
Nice, thanks.